All right, there it is. Nice. We are the classic we are live statement at the beginning, right? Classic we are live statement. All right, got that pulled up. I thought YouTube just had this natively built in now, but I still had to go through StreamYard. So let me and then have to get the price pulled up. We've got to get the price pulled up. What's up, Big Nick? Thanks for being here. Yeah, I appreciate that. Okay, I'm excited to hear about your channel. Big Burga on the quest to 0.21. Love to see it. Love to see it. All right, let's get the price pulled up here. We can't have a Bitcoin live stream without the price. So let's get that pulled up. I want to move this to a new tab. Is streaming to X still a thing? Does anyone know? Hold on. Gotta get signed in TradingView. And then I got a list of topics to talk about. Drop topics you want to hear about in the comments as well. Yeah, exactly, Big Nick. It's all about the recommended. It took me a long time to hit recommended. That part is not easy. I really like what's the channel? I love Think Media. So I love, like, there's lots of YouTube advice out there. Think Media is the advice that connected the most for me because they talk about just like starting with search traffic. And yeah, that always connected more for me. And that's the videos that took off first on my end were like Sunrun Solar. Sunrun Solar was the first one that took off for me. There it is. There it is. Got the price. All right, here we go. Now we're in classic. Classic YouTube live stream mode. What's up? StreamYard says we got 12 people here right now. I'm gonna click over here to YouTube. Perfect. Okay, I can see the audio coming through on that. What's up, 12 people? I appreciate you being here. This is just a test. I'm not really that guy that just like talks about the news. Like, I'm not really that guy that talks about the news. But I did pull one news item just because I was always better at talking about the news on Twitter, honestly. That's where I would talk about the news because I felt like you could like wrap it back and forth with people more, and you could always be the like, just bring the, I don't know, it just felt more natural, like organic back and forth talking on Twitter about it. I'm not really like the copy paste, like bring in the news headline guy, but who knows? Who knows? Like, we've got to stay flexible. That was the video I just released yesterday. It was just having like a flexible mindset. And it's funny thinking back to like how much of honestly, a lot of how I've thought about Bitcoin and like Bitcoin personal finance was shaped by like Bitcoin Twitter for a long time. It was just like there was a community aspect to it back in like 2019 to 2021. Because I went through a lot of phases. It was like 2015 to 2019 was just me offline, watching YouTube, learning about Bitcoin, reading the books, 2019 to like 2022 was a big like networking jump for me in terms of just like talking to people on Twitter all day, every day. And like that, yeah. Hold on. Let's see right here. Yeah, so 2019, 2022 was a big networking jump for me. Did the Orange County Bitcoin meetup for a long time. Talked to people on Bitcoin Twitter almost every day. Like back then, like just talking to Big Nick about kind of YouTube organic growth. Like back then, Twitter organic growth was honestly the most kind of easy. Like it was easy to just network and meet people on there. It was the most like it was the most online version of like what real world networking felt like, and that's what I loved about it. And what's interesting now is that Twitter, it doesn't feel like that as much anymore. And honestly, YouTube feels more like that. Like just the ability to kind of talk to people in the comments, the ability for YouTube to surface Bitcoin content to other people is that. But yeah, so that's and that impacted a lot of my thoughts about personal finance. And I think it impacted a lot of people's thoughts about personal finance because we are kind of, there was no, what I used to say a lot back then was like, we're all figuring out Bitcoin personal finance together. So the news piece I was going to comment on was Zora, right? The like tokenize your content thing. Let's even see if I can find it. Yeah, so like tokenizing content, that was the news piece I was going to comment on. It feels like, how there's, like people talk about like, oh, just stay focused on Bitcoin, just stay focused on Bitcoin. And the reason why is because of stuff like this. Honestly, that's very like, I guess just, I always like to try to find new language. Like I don't like copying other people's language. I want to try to find like new ways of saying this. But basically like, it's just new. Like, it's just like you don't know if that idea will work or not. And I also try to come at it from a place of like, not just straight up calling it dumb, right? Because I think a lot of Bitcoin commentators, just anything new in crypto, they're just like, oh, that's dumb, right? They just like hit it from it's dumb, and then they go back to the kind of just Bitcoin sound money talking points, right? But I feel like we're just kind of at a standstill and like a stalemate on that. So I'm trying to find new ways. And this is what it's like, this is more what it comes down to. Like when you when I think about this idea, and think about the concept of investing in this idea, whether it's financially or like time or just anything, this is like betting on a giant parlay. Like you have to get the protocol right, that it's on a popular enough protocol, and then you also have to get the idea right, and then you have to get the brand that executed the idea right. Like 3 things have to go right for your investment of time or attention or whatever to like pay off on this. And that's a really hard parlay to hit. Like if there's any sports bettors out there, like you'll understand that. Like that's a really, really hard parlay to hit. And that's the long form version of what like Bitcoin people say when they like shit talk crypto and other ideas. Okay. What's up, McCracken? I appreciate that. Thanks for the encouragement on that. Yeah, I love that it's helping you sort your own thoughts. What's up, David? Appreciate the comments, guys. Yeah, like that's and so I was watching some other people like comment on it and talk about it, and they were basically just like, oh well, this is one person, but like they were just like, oh well, it's not like obviously it's in its infancy. This is not meant for, or like when it matures, it's not even meant for retail people to trade it, right? It's meant for pro traders and bots to help surface the best content and monetize creators. Okay, like that's a nice sentence. That's a nice sentence. Here's actually my first initial thing on that. It has nothing to do with whether that sentence is even right or wrong. It has to do with this. It's like, again, like, so even by a proponent of it, they're saying like it's built for pro traders and bots. Okay. Well, I am not a pro trader or a bot. And this is where the whole, again, I'm getting very like meta now, but this is where the like commenting on the endless stream of crypto news just gets like kind of tiresome, because it's like at the very thesis of even this invention or this protocol or this like what Web3, like whatever you want to call it, like I'm not even the target market for that. And I think that's where Bitcoin, like people that love to just focus on Bitcoin, that's the like nicer, long-winded way that they could say it, which is just like that's honestly like it's honestly just something completely separate. Like it'd be like, oh, it's just a completely separate segment. And crypto is such a weird thing that it all gets lumped together. That it all gets like so lumped together. So that's my thoughts on that. Is that just like if you are interested in that, hitting the parlay on it is like so extremely hard. And then even I'll add a fourth leg to the parlay. You have to make sure that then even if it hits, it beats the hurdle rate of something else that you could have invested in. And that's what comes back to the whole thing that I talk about like on this channel a little bit, is the whole just like what's your money? Like, is it Bitcoin or is it dollars? So there's that. So that's the way, but I want to say something here. Like that's why like new crypto stuff is kind of like annoying in my opinion. But I do think that lots of progress has been made on the concept of value accrual and the concept of like tokenomics in general. Like I used to think that tokenomics was a dumb word. I used to think that like value accrual was fundamentally broken for like across everything, right? But now I think that look, like the concept of open source software via like tokenizing of things being better than centralized institutions, that's cool. Like that's cool. And you're right, that concept in and of itself makes sense. But we have to break this like player versus player thing going on of just the playing merry-go-round in the like casino stuff. Like we do genuinely have to break that, because that's not, it's just not helpful. Like it's not helpful to that. So off of that, I want to hard pivot to kind of like other investments, right? So we're on this train where I just kicked off with this news story of the like tokenizing content, Zora or whatever. But you have noticed on this channel that I have been talking, like I don't exclusively talk about Bitcoin. Like I do enjoy talking about investments as a whole. And I'm not a Bitcoiner that believes that like you shouldn't be invested in like any other investments. Like I do think there is value for different people having multiple assets besides Bitcoin. And I'm saying that across the entire thing, like stocks, ETFs, the Bitcoin ETF, real estate, crypto that you understand the tokenomics of and understand the value accrual of, and you're not trying to hit a deep random parlay on new protocols all the time. Like, that's where there's not enough people. Yeah, exactly. See, but it's deeper. It's deeper than just when it's distributed also. It has, yeah, it's deeper than that, but that is a giant part of it. So, yeah, so I just like talking about both those things. I think I would love to see the concept of Bitcoin personal finance level up to where Bitcoin is like a central part incorporated into personal finances. And then on the same time, on the crypto side, I would love to see the talk of like, what are we doing here? Like separating, protocols that are dialed in, that have stood the test of time a little bit, that are like foundationally correct, rather than just this kind of circular motion of player versus player where everyone's just like passing money back and forth to each other and there's no one, like, it's not doing anything, because that's annoying, and that's what continues to kind of, that's why there is a separation kind of between Bitcoin and crypto a little bit. But so at the same time, I still think that kind of when Bitcoiners do talk down on all other assets, they do get a little bit ahead of their skis. And the one that I've picked apart the most on this is like real estate. And that's the reason why I'm trying to like pull it into my channel a little bit more, because I'm passionate about personal finance for regular people. I just talked about how I think it's weird that so much of crypto's product market fit is for like institutions and pro traders and bots and da 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 da. Like, I'm focused on like regular people, and to dial it down even further. Like, yeah, just regular people, mostly in the United States, because that's what I understand and that's where I'm from. That's what I'm most comfortable talking about. That's the financial system I understand the most. And then personal finances. Like, and having Bitcoin not be this just random bolt on to your personal finances, having it be like a core part of it, and your whole family understanding the part that it's playing in there, right? So then why real estate? Why real estate is kind of the like my quote unquote second best, right? And the reason for that is because real estate was like the tried and true way to become a millionaire in the United States. Like the forced savings mechanism of paying down your principal, the tax advantages of being able to write off the interest payments, and the ability to get 95, 97, 90% leverage when you buy it. And the fact that how like interior square footage is a better store value than fiat dollars, all leads to it having about the same thesis as Bitcoin. Like, there's enough the concentric circle overlap, in my opinion, of real estate shares the most with Bitcoin. And then also, it's just a giant part of people's regular household monthly budgets. So I just think it's something that you should be like efficient with. And that's the reason why I think Bitcoin and real estate, make a good pairing. All right, chunking down the list here. Throw out a comment if there's anything you want to hear me talk about or a question that you have. I appreciate all of you for being here. Talk about this. I got some feedback. I asked people to go subscribe to our newsletter. So if you go to linktree.com/Brian and Sharin, that's my wife's name, Sharin. We've been doing Bitcoin together for 10 years now. Actually, orange pilled her on like our third or fourth date, and we've been doing it the whole way since then. We used to mine Bitcoin together with this S9 in our 1-bedroom apartment. Our electricity would trip when she would go to blow dry her hair, and I would have to reset the breaker. So no, we did it. Like, we've done it together the entire time. Would love for you to join our newsletter. It's primarily about two things. Like, there's two things that I think I have an edge on. Three things maybe. One of them is what I want to talk about, like Bitcoin is money. There's three things I think I have an edge on. It's that one, like, Bitcoin is money. Bitcoin is money, and you can incorporate it into your personal finances. It doesn't have to be a random bolt-on. Like, you can be Like you can just live your life with Bitcoin as like a central part of your personal finances and continue to use it more and more across all buckets. Like I say this, that like personal finance isn't the problem. Like different types of accounts is not the problem. Like the underlying currency is the problem. And the products are getting better and better every day to where you can use Bitcoin across almost every single type of legacy account that you've had in the past. So Bitcoin is money and you can use it like money. Number two, I would say like you doing Bitcoin as a family. Like I said, like Shren and I have been doing it since the beginning, since my beginning, since our beginning together. And I don't think everyone has that. And so like if you need ways to kind of like talk to your partner, talk to your family that's less into Bitcoin, like I just released a video for Fold's channel about how to like stack Bitcoin rewards passively through the merchant offers. Like this is a real life example. Like if you guys get like order food on DoorDash, if you order your groceries on Instacart, if you're like doing home improvement stuff and you like use the Lowe's app to like order Lowe's pickup, right? Or whatever, or Taco Bell or Amazon. Amazon's a big one, right? If you recurring shop at those places, rather than using your credit card at those places, use your credit card inside Fold, grab a gift card, copy paste the gift card into those apps, and then continue shopping like normal. And that's a way to begin to just bridge Bitcoin rewards into the ongoing shopping your family's already doing. That's the like base level way I tell people to begin to get their partner and get their family, incorporated into Bitcoin personal finance. The third thing I believe we have an edge on is like we've cracked the code on how to own your own home, invest in rental properties as a Bitcoiner. Like understanding that Bitcoin is better than fiat money, but then also having our primary residence like on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage and owning properties that are cash flowing and paying us and increasing our net worth at about the same rate as the Bitcoin CAGR, we've cracked the code on that. And so those are the three things that I believe like I have an edge on. And I'm going to start to try to really lean into the like more specialty type videos in those niches. And so if that's interesting to you, linktree.com/Brian and Shren. And that brings me to, so if you've watched a couple of my like more deep dive videos, like I interviewed my friend Isaiah, who's just a business guy in Orange County. I interviewed Jerry Park at Sushi Delight out in Lomita. I just interviewed Stephen Wynn, who's a real estate investor, stacked over a $6 million net worth in real estate in his mid-30s. I've been trying to do more high quality videos, but my audio has suffered. And a lot of you have talked that out in the comments, which is nice. And I appreciate that. Here's the main thing that needs to happen. And I'm just calling this out to myself as a way of accountability, is I need to upgrade my editing software. So like I've been using iMovie, just use iMovie. But the problem is when my nice videographers, Arash and Tanner, hand me their like bigger files, it messes up the audio encoding. And so that's a thing. And also just in general, even on my own home mic here, I tend to get a little excited, and blow out the audio, and I'm not able to correct it with iMovie. So that's where that's coming from. But yeah, guys, I'm honestly trying to bring a different side to Bitcoin YouTube. And this was the first dry run on a live stream. Haven't live streamed in a while. So appreciate you all being here. Feels good to sit in front of these green candles, be back above 90. And so probably cut it there for today. But yeah, love doing this and appreciate all of you for being here.